I'm Lee Jost, Executive Director for InCircle here in Johnson County, Kansas.
My name is Joe Carlin. I'm CEO of Carlin Consulting and Executive Director of Dignity Project of Johnson County. Let's solve this problem together.
We can, in fact, have a great impact on housing vulnerability by looking at the continuum of housing that is necessary in Johnson County, to resolving homelessness by providing a landing place for those experiencing homelessness in Johnson County.
I think it's really important to note that without an address, nothing else exists. So if you don't have an address, you cannot get a photo ID. You cannot get a job without an address. So when we talk about folks need to get jobs or folks, you can't do any of that if you don't have an address. Since 2011, we've developed 26 supportive housing communities in 9 states, ending homelessness for around 750 households every year. We're serving the population in greatest need in that community. So that could be veterans, that could be folks that are chronically homeless, that could be folks that transition age youth, 18 to 24, that are exiting foster care. And those services on site are designed specifically for that population. So that could be mental health, it can be life skills training, it can be parenting programs, budgeting programs. So all of those services are provided on site to keep folks housed and successful in housing.
A real estate developer is really the quarterback of a project. Without developers, you're not going to have any new housing, right? And that's from single family to townhomes or attached housing or apartments, or whether that's market rate, affordable or high end or low end, whatever it might be.
Friends of Johnson County Developmental Supports creates affordable and accessible housing for people with intellectual and developmental disabilities who want to live in the community. This house was actually purchased quite a bit ago, and it will mean that 3 gentlemen will get to move in. It'll have 2 bathrooms. It will be completely accessible throughout the house. We rely on fundraising efforts, private foundations. We use community development block grant funding, and we basically create a quilt of different sized quilt blocks to pay for this project.
It's a big puzzle that you have to try to fit each piece into in terms of soft money, hard money, which is your permanent debt, your construction lending, your tax credits. And so sometimes there may be 5, 6 sources of funds on a $20 million project, 10 million of which is probably materials. If you could create a $700,000 or $800,000 gap funder, that's a huge difference. Here in Johnson County, the biggest obstacle, to be honest, is land. Finding available land to provide affordable housing on. The second thing is in the local community, do they want it? I don't want to bang my head on a wall to try to provide them something that they need, but that they don't truly want.
Hedge Lane Apartments will be the largest affordable housing project that we've ever done. And we spent a lot of time and effort in designing what we believe is going to be a Class A project. So when you look at that project versus a typical market rate project, I don't think you're going to be able to see any difference. We're putting in swimming pools and fitness areas and a dog park and really building, using high-end finishes. So that's the thing that we're the most proud of. I think it'll be something that Johnson County hasn't seen in an affordable housing project in the past. There's been a lot of misconceptions in the fact that when a project gets any sort of incentive towards it, that the developer is taking home a bag full of money. Well, that's not the case. Generally, an incentive goes through a but-for analysis, and we have to prove that that incentive is needed in order to make a project go forward. Affordable housing projects, flat out, are so hard to pencil just with the way the market is today. It used to be hard, it's super hard now. So anything that we can do to increase that ability is really access to capital. That's what we need to do.
One in 10 people in Kansas is spending more than 50% of their monthly income on housing. When you do that, you have to make some really tough choices. And we recognize that housing needs are everywhere, especially affordable housing needs here in Johnson County. And so when we were talking with Kevin and Pathways, we recognized that this was a really great opportunity for us to start to acquire land at an affordable rate thanks to their generosity and their willingness to see this happen, and to develop something that Johnson County hasn't had in a while, which is single-family attainable housing that is going to impact families not just for today, but for many years to come.
The benefit of stable housing really makes an impact for families, makes an economic impact, makes a health impact, makes an education impact. And the way we understand what a church is supposed to be about in a community is helping to bring about those type of changes. And that's just been part of our dream really since 2009.
This is the first large-scale project that we've been able to do in terms of new construction here in Johnson County, and that's simply because acquiring land is not easy for nonprofits and for developers who are doing attainable housing within the community. And so partnerships like this, partnering with our faith partners, partnering with corporate partners, the county, it takes all of us to come together to make these types of projects happen, but it completely impacts the entire community, not just this neighborhood, but the entire community gets to be a part of this.
We have folks that are essential workers that need affordable housing. When you choose to only serve people that aren't on a fixed income, you're saying as a community, we want you to come work in our community, but we don't want you to live here.
Starting school teachers, starting firefighters, starting working folks that just need an affordable place to live, because you need those in your county. It's not about putting in low-income housing. It's about providing housing for the people that are there.
Having people of a diverse nature in our neighborhoods are important to everybody. And that's diversity by color, diversity by religion, diversity by economic status, diversity by ability. And I think the more we realize that it's good to have a wide variety of neighbors and the importance of having neighbors that are different from us, I think the better our community will be.
Ending homelessness in Johnson County is a very solvable issue. We have around 250 folks every night who are on the street homeless, meaning they have no permanent place to call home. That's 250 units that we need to add in Johnson County. It is a solvable issue. Permanent housing ends homelessness. Having an address ends homelessness.
Each one of these organizations and housing development firms are working together to solve a challenge. The challenge is Johnson County has individuals who are experiencing homelessness today. It has people who are cost burdened in their housing. It has people who are seeking to emerge from housing and be stable in the community. And I believe the vision for that comes as we start working together to resolve these challenges.